Bojack Horseman, Season 6. It's been a while, guys. It's been a long time. I think it's been over a year since I've uploaded. No, it hasn't, because I uploaded last. Did I upload last in 2019? Yeah, I did, because I uploaded my Mario Maker 2 review. That's point. This is pointless. Doesn't matter. What does matter is that we're talking about Bojack Horseman Season 6. And it's been a long, long time since I've seen you guys, since I've had this interaction. Excuse me, God, that's horrible. But it's also been a while since both parts came out, and I've watched both of them multiple times. I actually just got done finishing them again for the purpose of this review because I wanted to talk about them. And as you guys know, if you guys seen my season 5 review of BoJack Horseman, I am a huge fan of this show, and it's fantastic and just amazing and so just and it's now over and just sad. So a couple things to start off before I get into the season. First thing, yes, this is going to contain spoilers for the first part, or this is going to contain spoilers for both part 1 and part 2. I will get into spoilers later on in this video, but I'm going to give a little overview on how I feel about it in a moment. But if you're just here wondering if the entire show is good, yes, this entire show is amazing. Go and watch it. Just stop this video, go and watch it, and come back and watch it. Come back and watch this video, so then you can tell me about how you feel about it, about how you feel about BoJack Horseman ending. The season as a whole is really good, even though it was split into 2 parts. I'll get more into how I feel about that and how I feel if that affected the show or not. And if you're just wondering how I feel about the second part, and specifically the series finale, the last couple of episodes, I think they are great, and I love them, and I think it is a fantastic end to a truly fantastic show. So that from here on out, it's just talking about spoilers from all of BoJack, not just seasons 1 through 5, not just seasons and not just season 6. It's all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. So if you haven't watched it, I recommend it heavily. It's one of the best shows ever, like ever. Not just one of the best animated shows. It's genuinely one of the best shows ever made. Fantastic show. So please, if you haven't watched it, and if you're just gonna listen to me talk about it, even if you don't care about spoilers, I still recommend you watching it. Give the support the writers and the actors and the animators for this amazing show. It's amazing, and I can't praise it enough. But yeah, okay, that's done with me gushing for a little bit. So season 6, part 1. Yes, I am gonna go over the different parts and talk about it as a whole, but you'll see what I mean. So part 1 begins with literally where season 5 left off, which, if you guys did not know, season 5 left off on BoJack and probably one of his biggest lows, maybe his biggest. He's like drugged up, just got done with the whole Gina situation and went to Diane for help, trying to find any way to have his actions have consequences, you know what I mean, like, yeah, I can't think of the words, but yeah, trying to take responsibility, trying to be held accountable. And when Diane tells him that that's never going to happen because of the way that Hollywood is, she tells Bojack to go to rehab, and the end of season 5 is just Diane dropping off Bojack to rehab. So season 6 begins with Bojack entering in rehab, with, greatly enough, the episode title being called A Horse Walks into Rehab. And this episode is truly something special. It's honestly, I think it might be my favorite episode of the season. Sorry. Sorry, that was just weird. I'm sorry. I don't know where that cut, but I know where it didn't cut, which is me talking about where season 5 left off. So season 5 left off of Bojack going to rehab. Season 6 begins with him being in rehab with the episode A Horse Walks into Rehab. And this is honestly one of my favorite episodes of this season, def and of the show. Um, Not my favorite though. Free Churro is probably still my favorite episode of the show. I'm gonna rewatch the entire show though. Maybe decide then. But right now, Free Churro is my favorite episode. But the second part of the season does have a contender, and it's the penultimate episode. Can I not say that word? Penultimate. Fuck that. The season 6 episode 15 episode. You guys know what episode I'm talking about. If you guys know the episodes, you guys will know. Who don't know, who still don't know anything about the season, who are just going to listen to me talk about it, you guys will find out later what episode I'm talking about. But yeah, A Horse Walks into Rehab, amazing episode, great start to the season. We see Bojack struggling with rehab. Honestly, we see like a good minute, I think, montage of Bojack struggling and him having withdrawals, having he's puking at night. He's not talking to the therapy horse. He's not talking in group therapy, and he's just not doing rehab. And that ends when, in the middle of the montage, he sees a picture of Sarah Lynn, who happened to went to the same rehab as him, and so that gives Bojack um, the push to actually do it, to try to take rehab seriously. So we see him succeed. He's talking about his problems. He's doing great. He's doing the activities. He's exercising. We see Bojack in a really good place in this episode, and that's probably why it's one of my favorite episodes. And yeah, just this entire episode is just Bojack in a good place. And yeah, later on in the episode, it's shown that one of the other people in rehab that Bojack happens to get stuck in a situation with. That's pretty funny. Has been sneaking in vodka, and water bottles. And so this whole charade, this whole thing goes on where Bojack just goes in with her. They go to a party. They go to her house, and you find out that she's been lying because she was talking about how it's because of that she's in rehab because her dad was shitty to her and doesn't give her any attention, because the baby, which we are led to presume is her father's and her new stepmother's baby, took all the attention from her, and we come to find out that that it is not that case, that it is her baby, and her problems with alcohol addiction is the reason why she was sent there. But and the reason why I talk about this storyline is because at the end of the episode, Bojack catches her trying to sneak another water bottle in, and he grabs it and makes sure that she does not take it. But weirdly enough, he doesn't throw it away. He keeps it. And at the end of the episode, we see him looking at the water bottle, having a flashback, which we've been having flashbacks this entire episode, of moments of Bojack, like where Bojack's addiction could have started. We see as late as Sharona giving him a drink during Horsing Around. Sharona, his hairdresser, if you guys do not know. And we see it as early as when he was like no older than like 5, and his parents just had a party, and he takes a sip of, I assume, is vodka. Maybe it's some kind of alcoholic beverage that they were drinking. And yeah, just those flashbacks are sad and horrible, and especially one that sticks out is, and I won't go too much into it, but if you guys know what I'm talking about, it's the one where Bojack walks in on his dad in his office at their hours, and that entire thing, that was uncomfortable, but it was uncomfortable in like not the good way, but it was uncomfortable because it was supposed to be uncomfortable, because that was just a lot. That was intense. That was really, wow, that was a lot. And we also see that Bojack had a maybe a crush of some sort on this girl named Lindsay, I believe. Lindsay from Spanish One. I remember. Lindsay from Spanish One. And then he ruined that by drinking and thinking that the way that he was going to have to keep making friends was continuing to make fun of them. Um, at least that's how I kind of interpreted it, I guess. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, the episode ends with Bojack looking at the water bottle and keeping it. And yeah, so that's the end of the first episode of the season. And the next couple episodes is just how everyone else is doing. The next episode is about Princess Carolyn and her baby, and we see the struggles of a parent. She's trying really hard to make sure that, you know, she takes care of Ruthie, her baby, from the end of season 5. Um, she's she's not sure if she loves being a parent, you know. She's having troubles, you know, just going through the motions of what I assume new parents go through whenever they have a child. And yeah, we see also Mr. Peanut Butter filming Birthday Dad. The craziest show that I wish actually existed, because I would love to see how this plays out. We see him filming that with Pickles, and he's still very remorseful with what he did to Pickles, you know, cheating on her with Diane. And yeah, that's all we really see from this episode. We get Mr. Peanut Butter going to Bojack's rehab place, Pet Facetious, I think is what it's called. And fucking like just tear, like just not tear anything apart. That sounds weird. That's definitely not what happened. Just like talk about how he feels remorseful for what he did, but not actually saying it was him. And then Bojack kind of catches on and goes, hey, and kind of gives some words of advice from Mr. Peanut Butter, being like, hey, it comes out, like, whatever it is, it comes out, like, one way or another, and it is just probably better to just kind of, like, just tell them yourself. And that Bojack knows how Mr. Peanut Butter feels. And this season, in general, just has so much Mr. Peanut Butter and Bojack chemistry. I loved it. It really made me happy with how whenever they were together, and like all the scenes with them were together were like some of my favorite parts of this entire show. But yeah, and the episode ends with Princess Carolyn coming to an understanding that she needs to treat Ruthie like how she treats her clients and her projects, and you know, she needs to just keep chugging along, and you know, things will get better. And that's that kind of the outlook for the episode. A lot of these episodes are really hopeful, you know, they end on hopeful notes. And the train doesn't stop there, because the next episode is all about Diane and what she's doing. And in this episode we see Diane going around and with the girl cruise van with this guy named Guy, a Chicago bull from Chicago. But yeah, we also hear voiceovers from Bojack telling a story about how this new girl from that went into rehab kind of like invaded rehab. Funny enough, but I see it as like we see some of the changes from Bojack in those voiceovers, especially the final couple ones. And yeah, this is basically just about Diane, though, trying to you know, be happy with what she's doing. You know, she's doing all these takedown videos, and eventually Girl Cruise is bought by White Whale Industries, which is basically just Disney, but it's not, because I think White Whale actually purchased Disney in the show, if I'm correct. Basically just taking an entire rip on the whole huge companies trying to monopolize everything. But yeah, fucking there's like a joke on that. There's jokes on that. And we see Diane and Guy have a very close relationship. This is the first time we've seen a relationship with Diane after Mr. Peanut Butter. And yeah, and you think through this like, oh, they're really good for each other. Actually, we learn some things about Guy. Like he's from Chicago. He has a son. He argues with the mother of the son a lot, and yeah, we just learned some things about Guy and where Diane is now. And the episode ends with first as a kind of a sad note of Diane leaving Guy after showing that he's so much good for her, and she's just like, yeah, no, mate, that's too much to worry about. Basically, Diane just like, she can't accept happiness if there's only one thing that makes her happy. She feels like there's too much pressure there, and she goes back to LA. But at the end of the episode, with a letter from Bojack that she reads, kind of gives her the inspiration to talk to Guy and maybe try to work things out. And that leads right into this next episode, which is definitely the most fun episode of this season. Yeah, definitely the most fun episode of this season. It's great premise. Season 6, episode 4, Surprise, which is just all about Mr. Peanut Butter's and Pickle's wedding. The planning was getting too stressful on them, so everyone's invited. Bojack's invited. He's not out of rehab. He left rehab, to go there. He's there with a what's it called? I forgot what they called him. Sobriety something. It's like, I don't know. I don't remember. It's like a helper. It's basically someone to help him stay sober. Sober companion. That's what it was. A sober companion. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, and we see Diane trying to find Bojack because she has decided that she is going to move to Chicago and live with Guy and continue this relationship. And so she's trying to find him. She ends up at Peanut Butter's house, and then we see Mr. Peanut Butter and Pickles pull up. Mr. Peanut Butter still feels remorseful for not telling her, and right before they open the door, when everyone's in places getting ready to do the surprise wedding, tells her that they have something to talk about. He opens the door before they can even turn on the lights. He goes, "I cheated on you." And this episode kicks off where everyone's trying to not be seen. We have the drama with the Peanut Butter and Pickle dilemma. Peanut Butter cheating on Pickles. And yeah, just like this episode's really funny if like just the visual gags of like everyone trying to hide around, people, almost being seen with what Mr. Peanut Butter says and what Pickles say. And they're talking about the people who are there and they do not know that they were there at all. It's fantastic. Even like Gary from the gas station, and he was just randomly invited, and Mr. Peanut was like, and Gary from the gas station, I hate him too. And Gary from the gas station, he happens to be there. He just feels sad and it's heartbroken. And yeah, this episode plays out and we come to learn some things. We learn, or not we learn, the characters start to learn some things, which is Mr. Peanut Butter cheated on Diane. And that Diane is moving. Todd has been spying on the nannies that Princess Caroline has been hiring. And so at the end of the episode, we have a lot of revolutions kind of tied up. Pickles knows the entire story, so they decide to try to work together and make it work by having Pickles cheat on someone. And Diane tells Bojack about why she's moving and makes him promise that Bojack's going to be okay if she moves. And Bojack's like, yeah, that's, yeah, I'm going to be fine. Please move. Please go and be happy. And Todd and Princess Caroline come to an agreement where Todd basically becomes the nanny for Ruthie. Ruthie. No, Ruthie. And the episode ends just with everyone kind of going their separate ways. And that leads into... Oh, wait, before I go into the next episode, I just want to say the whole Pickles being a social media icon thing. I love that bit. It's great because like this day and age, there's YouTubers, very much so influencers who are on social media, and yeah, I just like the fact that they had Pickle be one of those. That I don't know. I kind of like that. That was kind of funny. Um, so yeah, everyone kind of goes their separate ways. Diane goes to Chicago. Bojack goes back to rehab, to continue his process of getting better. And Pickles and Mr. Peanut Butter just try to work things out. That leads to episode 5. I think it's called A Bit Uneven. And this episode is this and the next episode, which we'll just talk about together, is just about it's just about Bojack leaving rehab. And there's like some other bits. There's like some bits with Diane in there, I believe, if I'm correct. Is there? I think there is. Oh yeah, about Diane writing her book. I'm fucking dumb. About Diane writing her book, and about Todd. Todd meeting his not meeting. Todd's stepdad Jorge coming in and helping him. These 2 episodes just kind of feels like a 2-parter, kind of like most episodes are interwoven with each other, meaning like they just connect. But yeah, like these 2 episodes, they feel like a 2-parter. So I'm going to talk about them like they are a 2-parter. So 5 and 6, it has Bojack trying to leave rehab. Dr. Champ, which is the therapy horse, is trying to push him away, trying to be like, no, you need to go, Bo. You need to go, Bo. Bojack, go home, Bo. And Bojack's not having it because he doesn't want to go. He's terrified of the thought of leaving and possibly slipping back into the routine he was, abusing drugs and alcohol. And Dr. Champ is just like, no, like go to AA meetings, find a support system, you need to go. This is a place to help people. And we hear from Diane, she got an advance on her book that Princess Carolyn gave her, and it's her book of memoirs. It's a memoir, which is a book of essays. That's really confusing. But yeah, basically Diane gets an advance on her book, and she is now in charge of writing a book, and she's having some trouble because she feels shitty, tackling depression. And yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot, man, but it's good. It's good, though. It's a good a lot because the show, it starts a conversation. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting off point. I'm sorry. This video's being randomized. It's like, it's go one bit over there, one bit over there. But incidentally, in episode 5, Bojack with the bottle of vodka after Dr. Champ, and this is genuinely one of my favorite scenes in the show. After Dr. Champ's like, you need to go, like, you don't need rehab. Dr. Champ leaves the room. Bojack's like, oh, I don't need rehab. Opens the bottle of vodka. Opens the water bottle with vodka in it, tries to take a drink, and then realizes that all the process he made could just go away, bam, in an instant. Realizes that and just like, no, and like spits it out, just doesn't even fucking do it, and just throws the fucking water away. But sadly, that leads to Dr. Champ getting his hands on the water bottle and drinking the vodka, and that leads to Dr. Champ getting drunk. And yeah, which is not good because he's a therapy horse for rehab, and not good. And episode 6 starts with Dr. Champ waking up from this little hangover thing, realizing how horrible it was, trying to not do it. Bojack tries to actually leave Pastiches for real this time, and then he sees Dr. Champ's van at the bar. And he stops there and tries to talk to Dr. Champ. And episode 6 is a lot of Dr. Champ and Bojack talking about how... oh, by the way, in episode 5, there's this entire bit with Sharona and Sarah Lynn. Like, Sarah Lynn getting a hold of Bojack's alcohol and Sharona taking the fall for it because Bojack and Sharona both drinking on the set of Horse Around a lot. This this takes place and when Horse Around was being filmed, when Herb was fired. So we see some of the aftermath of that as well with the new guy Danny something, I don't remember. But yeah, he's the new showrunner after Herb left and all that. So yeah, that little bit as well. So yeah, we just keep seeing Bojack and Dr. Champ, talking about like, hey, like this is not okay, blah blah blah. Eventually, it leads to Bojack taking Dr. Champ to another rehab place, and Dr. Champ telling Bojack that you ruined the people who care about you, and yeah, fucking Bojack leaves rehab. He goes to his house, and that leads to episode 7, the face of depression, and and this other storyline that I completely just ignored on accident is that was happening is Peanut Butter and Joey Pogo, which is a pop artist that was introduced, being both depressed, being fake depressed because of the meme and Princess Carolyn pushing him in front of the car. That sounds really complicated. I'm trying to hurry up and wrap this up because I might actually have to split this into 2 parts, which is not what I want. But Princess Carolyn and just basically just makes Peanut Butter the face of depression. So yeah, that entire bit, which takes Peanut Butter around the world with Joey Pogo. And yeah, but the face of depression is all about Bojack coming back from rehab, how he's going to be outside of rehab, back in the world of LA. And at first, it seems kind of hopeful. He's at his house. A lot of the bad thoughts were going back to his mind. He leaves to go to a rehab place, and he decides that he should start traveling. Basically just escape LA, try to get away from it. And that leads to him seeing Diane again, thanking her for all the things that, thanking Diane for all the help that she's done, believing in Bojack. Also thanking Todd, which was in LA, because Todd was still in LA. We also see this new character introduced named Maud, who happens to seem to be maybe possibly asexual, and Bojack tells her about the app that Todd is on, which is all about that the asexual dating app. And Bojack tries to help her with that. Bojack, it feels like this episode is just all about Bojack doing good, and we see Bojack visiting Hollyhock and Washington. Wait, no, I lied. Not in Washington, and a different place. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's Connecticut. Also, with the entire Diane bit, Bojack also helps her make sure she takes antidepressants and to get better for herself, because, like I said, she was having trouble writing with everything coming in at once, and so she does end up taking the pills, the antidepressants, and being happy. And I'm doing bad at this. But Bojack at the end of it all leads into visiting Hollyhock and going back to LA for a little bit, and deciding after a little push from Hollyhock, talking about how this new position opened up and in her college that she goes to for a drama professor, and Bojack calls for the job. Gets Princess Carolyn to lie about him like she always did. But basically just like, hey, Bojack's great job for this. He would be good for this. And we see Sharona and Bojack, which the AA meetings I was talking about that Bojack went to in the beginning of the episode, she's been there, sees that he actually has changed, and eventually does one more time for old time's sake, cuts his hair. We see Bojack's been dyeing his hair black for 20 years, I think it was. Yeah, for 20 years. And we see old Bojack. We know his hair's shorter now. It's gray. We see Bojack get the job and is on the first flight down to Connecticut, and which is the school stops at Washington because of a whole bunch of stuff. His regular attire gets messed up, so we see him adopt a new style, which is what we see him in for the rest of the season, for the rest of the series, I guess technically. and he stops at a church which is just run by horses, which Dr. Champ alluded to that Bojack hates horses, and we see Bojack kind of get some sort of what's it called solace in the weird church thing, in the weird presentation church thing, the sermon, I think is what it's called. And yeah, that episode ends and we go right into the last episode of season 6, which is called One Quick One While He's Away. And this is the big old episode of, oh God, everything's bad and horrible, which is the big chunk of the episode is that we follow these two investigators. And this has none of the main characters in this, by the way. We see Pickles once, and that's it. Like, we do not see anyone else. But this episode largely follows two investigators who are trying to find out what all happened with the Sarah Lynn situation. And we see at the beginning of the season, Bojack, in the first episode, Bojack lies about everything that happened, like, about being with her, about how she got the heroin, all that, basically kind of moving himself off of any connections to Sarah Lynn. And we see that, and you see that, which leads to these two investigators digging into it. Eventually, I'm going to go through this episode very quick. Eventually, them leading to New Mexico with the whole entire Penny situation, and just, oh my God, so many cans of worms might be opened. Another big story is that we see people like Gina, she still has some trauma with actor Bojack. We see Kelsey, the original director of the Secretariat movie. She's having some troubles. She's having some troubles getting bigger deals to like actually direct in. But we see in the end of it, everything kind of works out. Kelsey gets the role. Another big story though is Hollyhock, and we see her in New York, and we see her at this party where she's talked about how she doesn't want alcohol to be ruined for her. That she does want to drink, she wants to have fun. And when she's trying to drink a beer, we see a stranger walk up to her, help her through her anxiety attack. And this is where shit happens, because unless if you find out immediately when you see him, we begin to learn that the stranger who walked up to her isn't quite a stranger to us, because it's Pete Repeat from season 2 with the whole entire Penny situation. And he tells Hollyhock about what happened the night of prom, with Bojack basically just leaving them there after Pete's girlfriend got alcohol poisoning. And yeah, the end of this episode, which was the last episode of part 1, by the way, is Hollyhock asking, "What's his name? Who is he?" And then Pete Repeat about to reveal that it was Bojack, and that is how the first part ended, and that is how this video is ending, because oh my God, it's already 30 minutes. This will literally be an hour video if I just sit here and do it all in one go. So what I will do is that I will do a second part to this, which is talking all about part 2. It will be up shortly, shortly after this one's up, maybe even the same day, maybe even the next day. I don't know, but it's going to be shortly up. But yes, this is I'm sorry. I know I said I was going to do both parts, but there's so much to unpack of this show. And I've even skipped through some parts. And still this video is like 30 minutes long. So yeah, that's just how it's going to be. I'm sorry. I did not mean there for the part 2, but that's how it's going to be. The next part we'll talk all about Bojack Horseman season 6 part 2, about the series finale, about how I feel about it. And yeah, just talk about the ending, basically the end of Bojack. So that is my review of Bojack Horseman season 6 part 1. Fantastic season, fantastic part. Go and watch it if you guys haven't already. Like I said, stay tuned. The second part of this video will be coming. It's coming probably sooner rather than later. And yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, please like this video. Subscribe if you guys haven't subscribed already for more of this wonderful content. I swear I will try to maybe start posting more, start talking about some of my favorite shows. Excuse me. So I'll see all you guys in the next video.